There's a challenge going on YouTube at the moment where collectors are showing 10 movies that are in their collection that they have never watched. And I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon and just do this little quick video. It's not going to be a hour-long movie because I can't really talk about these movies because I've never seen them. But I think I've got 12. These are 12 movies from my collection that I've never ever seen. And I couldn't narrow it down to just 10 of these movies. So, yeah, I mean, I think, who is it? Stuart George has done it. X-File 2709, 2708, 2709. I'll get it right one day. I'm sorry, dude. I will get it right. Who else has done it? Sammy G has done it. I thought I'd do it as well. Gives me something to do, some reason to record a video and upload something since the last mini German haul. Oh yeah, it's a German haul, yeah. So these are 12 movies that I've never actually watched, even though they've been in my collection for many, many years. There are 2 Blu-rays. All the rest of these are DVDs, by the way. So the first one that I've never seen, and one that I paid very little money for, and I believe this is a edited down director's cut version of a mini series from, I think it's 1984. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was nominated for an Oscar for Best Foreign Film in its cinematic format, not in its television miniseries format. And it's Wolfgang Petersen's Das Boot. This is the 200-minute director's cut. I believe it was cut down even more for a theatrical, but this was originally, I believe it was a miniseries. Don't quote me on it, I'm not 100%. But this has been in my collection for about 20 years. And I've never watched it. It's a really cool Super Bit release. Probably the only Super Bit release in my collection. But yeah, it's just sat on the shelf for years and years. The reason I haven't got rid of it is because hopefully one day I will actually find 200 minutes to sit down and watch this German U-boat drama thriller mini series. So yeah, that's number 1, Das Boot, directed by Wolfgang Petersen. Next is another film I've had in my collection for years and years and years. This is the Region 1 release of Larry Cohen's Q the Wing Serpent, starring Michael Moriarty, David Carradine and Richard Roundtree. Don't know why I've never watched this. This is the type of movie that is right up my street. It's a creature feature. It's from Larry Cohen. It's directed by Larry Cohen. It's from Samuel Z. Arkoff, who I'm a big fan of his old 1950s and 1960s sci-fi B movies. So why I've never watched Q the Winged Serpent is beyond me. This is I believe it's now out of print because it's an Anchor Bay release, Region 1 Anchor Bay release. Don't really know anything about this. So one day I will sit down and watch Q the Winged Serpent. Next is one of maybe only 2 Clint Eastwood films I've never really watched. And it's one that I know a lot of people rave about and say it's like one of his best films as a director from his earlier period, and it's Play Misty For Me, starring Clint Eastwood and Jessica Walter, who, if you don't know who Jessica Walter is, she played the mother, I believe, in Arrested Development, and she was the voice of Archer's mother in the animated TV show Archer. But she's been in a lot of other things, but that's how I primarily know who Jessica Walter is. So yeah, Play Misty For Me. I know it's like a stalker thriller, I guess. Don't really know a huge amount about it, but I know that it's highly regarded as one of Clint's best directorial movies from the 70s. And I think it's the 70s, 1970. What year? 1971. Yeah, so 1971. I think this might have been his second or third film as a director. I think his first film was Hang 'Em High, which was a western where he'd just come off the back of doing the Dollars trilogy and decided to become a director and directed Hang 'Em High, which I think he followed up with either this or High Plains Drifter. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, just never seen it. I've got this on DVD, but I've got 2 copies of it. So if anyone wants a copy of Play Misty For Me on DVD, just say in the comments and I'll send it to you, because I have no idea why I've got 2 copies of it. But I have to find them first, because I don't really know where they are. I think they're in storage under my bed. But yeah, Play Misty For Me, Clint Eastwood. Probably the newest film on this list of films that I've never seen, and a film that I know I should have seen it because it's from the same studio that gave us John Wick, and it's Atomic Blonde. Like, I don't know why I've never seen it. Like, this should be right up my alley. This is full on action 80s espionage spy thriller shit, and it's got Charlize Theron in it and James McAvoy, but like, I've never watched it and it's still sealed. So why have I never watched Atomic Blonde? It's a thrilling, action-packed and bloody great adventure. Yeah, Atomic Blonde. Never seen it. Don't know why. Maybe just never got around to it, I guess. I'm going to have to rectify that at one point and probably watch Atomic Blonde, because I know from clips I've seen and from the trailer, it looks pretty fucking good. Like, really fucking good. So, yeah. Don't know why. It's been in my collection since it came out. Then this is a really random film that I found in a charity shop many moons ago, and it's got people in it that I really, really like, and it's a sort of hilarious spoof of 1930s gangster films, and it's got Michael Keaton in it. Who else is in it? Maureen Stapleton, Peter Boyle, Griffin Dunn, Glynis O'Connor, Richard Dimitri, Dom DeLuise, Danny DeVito's in it. It's directed by Amy Heckerling, who did some of the best comedies. It's got Joe Piscopo in it, Marilu Henner. Who wrote it? Norman Steinberg, Bernie Kukoff, Harry Colombi, and Jeff Harris. It is Johnny Dangerously. I picked this up in a charity shop for 50p. As you can see, the sticker is stuck on there and I cannot get it off, but I do have spare DVD cases which I can swap into. It says, in Amy Heckerling's hilarious send-up of 1930s gangster films, Michael Keaton stars as Johnny Dangerously, a devoted son who turns to a life of crime in order to pay for his mother's operation. As a dapper kingpin, he manages to provide support for her never-ending medical problems while romancing a steamy torch singer, played by Marilu Henner, battling arch-rival Danny Vermin, by Joe Piscopo, and exposing a corrupt district attorney, played by Danny DeVito. It's a zany, wild spoof that's riddled with as many gags as bullet holes. So, yeah, it's just sat on the shelf for years, and I have no idea why I've never watched it. I love Michael Keaton, Beetlejuice, Batman, Multiplicity is another really good Michael Keaton film, and some of the early stuff he did, like, what's the one where they're inside there's loads of them. They're inside a psychiatric ward, and it's Michael Keaton, Christopher Lloyd, and some other people. It's late, I can't remember now. But yeah, love Michael Keaton, so like, I'm surprised I've never really watched this. Now, this is one, like, as a massive 80s movie nerd, I can't believe that I have never watched probably the #1 Brat Pack movie of all time. And I've never seen St. Elmo's Fire. Reasons unbeknownst to me, I have no idea why I've never sat down and watched St. Elmo's Fire. It's got the cast in it: Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, Andrew McCarthy, Demi Moore, Judd Nelson, Ali Sheedy, Mer Winningham, Martin Balsam, Andy McDowell is in it. It's directed by Joel Schumacher as well. And who wrote it? Written by Joel Schumacher and Carl Kurlander. There's also got the really cool St. Elmo's Fire song in it as well. But yeah, it's the original Brat Pack movie, captures the essence of the 80s. And I love like all the John Hughes type stuff with these people. So like things like 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club. I love The Breakfast Club. And what was the other one? I say the other one. 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, which I do have on Blu-ray. I know I do have it on Blu-ray because I almost bought it again when I was in Cardiff Centre not so long ago. Some Kind of Wonderful, fantastic film. Just all these Brat Pack movies. But I've watched them all except the Brat Pack movie, St. Elmo's Fire. Never watched it. Maybe one day. Another film that is on everybody's lists of some of the greatest films ever made is a film I know I should have watched. It has one of my favourite actors in it. It's directed by fucking Francis Ford Coppola. It's The Conversation. I've never seen The Conversation. The people in this is John Cazale. John Cazale was sadly an incredible actor. Everything from the Godfather movies, where he played not Vito. What was his name? Oh, he played the youngest son of. Was he the youngest son or the middle son of Vito? And he was not the brainiest, if you know what I mean. I've like I said, it's late. My head, I'm tired. But also Dog Day Afternoon, fantastic in Dog Day Afternoon, fantastic in The Deer Hunter. But this is the one I've never seen, and it's got Gene Hackman in it. Gene Hackman, Harrison Ford, Alan Garfield, Cindy Williams, Frederick Forrest. I've never seen it, but I've heard that it's an incredible movie. So why have I never watched The Conversation? Again, these are all movies that I'm going to have to rectify at some point and watch these films. Next we have a film, again, I think that a lot of people, for some reason, there seems to be a Joel Schumacher collection on here, because this is another one I've never seen, and it's a film that I know a lot of people actually really like and compare it in some ways to films like Seven and Summer of Sam and stuff like that. There's because in the late 90s there was these really dark thrillers, and I think this was 2001 or maybe 2000. It might even be 1999. But this is probably one of the only Nick Cage films, big studio Nick Cage films, that I've never seen. And it's 8mm, directed by Joel Schumacher. I don't really know a huge amount about this movie. It's sat on my shelf for years. I really do actually like the DVD cover. It's really cool. It's also got Peter Stormer in it, Anthony Heald, who I literally just watched in Deep Rising about 2 nights ago. Chris Bauer, James Gandolfini, Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, never seen it. Written by Andrew Kevin Walker, directed by Joel Schumacher, produced by Joel Schumacher. Yeah, 8mm. Again, I've never seen it. Don't really know a huge amount about it, but I'm assuming it's to do with snuff movies. But yeah, it's a dark film. It's from the writer of Seven, so there is that. So Andrew Kevin Walker. Yeah. The problem is I've got such a vast DVD collection, it's really hard to find the time to have watched all these movies, because when you're in a specific mood to watch a film, you end up watching films that you've seen countless times before. So in my case, if I'm bored, I'll watch something like Tank Girl, or I'll watch something like the original Dawn of the Dead, or Back to the Future, or The Goonies, some stuff like that, some easy films. Well, it's very difficult for me to be in the frame of mind to sit down and watch Nicolas Cage investigating a snuff movie in 8mm. And another one which I've never seen, and I know this is on quite a lot of people's top movies of all time, and it's probably because I'm not a huge fan of the character that's in this. He's played by Anthony Hopkins in multiple different movies, but he's not played by Anthony Hopkins in this film. He's played by Brian Cox, which is Hannibal Lecter. Mads Mikkelsen played him as well in Hannibal Rising, I believe it was. It's Manhunter, and I should have seen this because it's a fucking Michael Mann movie, and it's got William Peterson in it. But it's just a film that I've never gotten around to watching, and I'm quite depressed that I've never seen it, because from what I hear, this is like one of, if not the best adaptation of is it Thomas Harris? Yeah, Thomas Harris's Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter novels. This was remade as Red Dragon by Brett Ratner, starring who was in it? It was Anthony Hopkins playing Hannibal Lecter, but it was Edward Norton, I think, was playing the Will. Can't remember his name now. But yeah, like Manhunter, I should have seen this film. Like the fact that I have owned this since this DVD got released, which was in, wasn't 1986. When was this DVD? 2003. So this DVD has been in my possession since, well, for 21 years, and I have never ever watched Manhunter. Then we have a film by Neil Jordan, which is a remake of a French film called Bob le Flambeur, which is, I think, Bob the Gambler, as it translates, but it's called The Good Thief. It is Nick Nolte in a Neil Jordan film, and I think Neil Jordan was the one who did The Crying Game, which is a very, very good movie, The Crying Game. But this is a crime thriller, drama, sort of a gambling movie. From what I hear, it's meant to be really, really good. From the award-winning director of Interview with a Vampire, and The Crying Game is on the front. There it is. Sexy, stylish, violent, and playing out like a European Ocean's 11. The Good Thief tells of a compulsive gambler, Bob Montagnet, played by Nick Nolte, as he plans the heist of his life, a priceless collection of art from the world-class Casino Riviera in Monte Carlo. Now Bob must round up a crew of old cons and evade the police chief nemesis, played by Shecky Cario, to pull off the elusive last job. Nick Nolte gives the performance of his career in Neil Jordan's stylish and explosive heist thriller. So I should have probably watched this as well, because it's a heist movie. There was a really good film called Heist, which was written and directed by David Mamet, which starred Gene Hackman and Danny DeVito and Delroy Lindo. It was a very good movie, but that's a film that's become quite hard to get hold of. I think I have a DVD of it. I'm not 100% sure, but that is a very good heist film. So, like, the fact that I've watched an obscure-ish sort of David Mamet heist movie, but I've never watched a Neil Jordan heist movie, is beyond me. But yeah, that's one film I need to watch. And then we have a film from John Boorman. It's not Point Blank or Deliverance. I have seen them multiple times, but this one is a sort of action adventure sort of, I guess, I don't really know, but it stars Powers Booth, Meg Foster, and Charlie Boorman, who is John Boorman's son. If you know who Charlie Boorman is, you know that he's a motorcycle rider, and well, he was an actor turned motorcycle rider. Did The Long Way Up, The Long Way Down, The Long Way Round with Ewan McGregor, the TV shows. But he plays the missing son of Powers Booth's engineer working on a dam in the Brazilian rainforest. It's called the Emerald Forest. I think when I picked this up, I got a little bit confused with Mosquito Coast, which was the Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren film from around the same time. I believe it was like 1985, 1986. I was getting them confused. So I knew of Emerald Forest and I knew of Mosquito Coast. And I know I'd seen Mosquito Coast before, but I'd never seen, which I think is directed by Peter Weir. I'm not 100% sure. But I know that I'd never seen this, and I still haven't, and it's the Emerald Forest, and it's weird because I'll watch anything with Powers Booth in. I would watch Powers Booth, I don't know, read a phone book, just because he's such a good actor. He was in a really good, I think it was made for TV movie, but it was like a high budget TV movie called By Dawn's Early Light, which is about a pilot who's on alert to strike Russia with a nuclear warhead. It was sort of like a game of death type of press the button. Do they press the button or not? Because they were unsure if Russia had fired first. It's very good. In fact, let me find it. Yeah, if you can find By Dawn's Early Light, I highly recommend checking this movie out. I probably should check out Emerald Forest as well. But yeah, By Dawn's Early Light's pretty fucking good. And then the final one. The final one is based on a novel. And it's co-written by John Sayles, who I talked about, I think, in a couple of videos prior to that. And it's based on it's an adaptation of John M. Orr's much-loved novel. It stars Daryl Hannah, Pamela Reed, James Remar, Thomas G. Watts, John Doolittle. My eyesight's getting worse and worse. And Daryl Hannah. I think I said Daryl Hannah. It's Clan of the Cave Bear. This is from like 1980. I want to say 1988. It might even be earlier than that. I'm not 100% sure. But this is Clan of the Cave Bear. This is a film that my mum absolutely enjoyed. She loved this movie. In fact, this was her DVD. But like to save her all her DVDs and stuff, I've kept most of the stuff that she had as well. And this was one of them. But this has been in my collection for many, many years. And it's just sat on my shelf. And I've never got around to watching it. And it's a film that like intrigues me. Like these type of films. I think there's one called Caveman as well with Timothy Hutton. That was I have seen Caveman. That was pretty. I think it's called Caveman or Iceman. I think it's called Iceman, where they thaw a Neanderthal from the ice. But yeah, those type of like early human sort of like The Quest for Fire and Clan of the Cave Bear and Iceman and stuff like that. They're really interesting to me because I'm a fucking conspiracy nut as well. I don't believe any of the conspiracies, not at all, but I do enjoy a conspiracy thriller about where men or mankind or humankind came from. So I really need to rectify my not watching Daryl Hannah in Clan of the Cave Bear, because it's directed by Michael Chapman. Who wrote it? So the novel's called Earth's Children, and the screenplay by John Sayles and Claire Noto. So if it's John Sayles, then it's going to be a good script. So I will get around to watching Clan of the Cave Bear at some point. So there we go. So that's my 12 movies that have in my collection that I have never actually watched. And I actually quite enjoyed doing this. Something a little bit different, if you know what I mean, mate. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, there we go. Short video, 23 minutes. It's not a long boy at all. There will be some longer ones coming up, because I know people do like the long ones. But for now, this was just a quick, easy challenge that I did to find... I don't know if you noticed, it's still fucking boiling on. I've had to open my window, which I don't normally do because next door neighbour seems to be playing movies really, really loudly at night, so I don't bother. So because I can't sleep when he's playing like dodgy shit on his laptop. So I don't know why I made that really quiet, but I did. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching and subscribing and all the comments and shit. I really, really do appreciate it. So as usual, oh, what I did want to say was, if you go to my Instagram, which is at Peter W. Osmond or Peter Osmond, I'll double check. I'll put the link. You can get a little bit of a better idea of my collection because I post photos of the DVDs that I'm watching or the DVDs and Blu-rays that I've picked up and stuff. The last one I posted was for this, which is Pink Cadillac starring Clint Eastwood, because as you know, I'm a Clint Eastwood maniac. I love Clint Eastwood movies. So thank you for watching, subscribing, commenting, everything. I much appreciate it. Let's all high five, and I will, as usual, throw up the peace sign, peace, give you a salute, hoi hoi, and tell you I'm out. Cheers. Have a good one.